Good evening, this is NSCN English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Ninghoy Kim Kong Sai. First, the headlines. China Myanmar module of NSCN-IM help banned outfits in Manipur, says NIA. Looted arms in Manipur found at junta camps at Myanmar. $3,579 liters of country liquor, DIC, and 99.17 liters of IMFL, worth approximately rupees 4,11,302. News in detail. The National Investigations Agency has said in a charge sheet that the China-Myanmar module of the Isak Muiwa factions of the National Socialist Council of Nagaland, NSCN-IM, supported the cadres of two Meitei outfits to infiltrate India in order to exploit the current ethnic unrest in Manipur, with a larger goal to destabilize the state and wage a war against the government of India. The charge sheet filed in a Guwahati court on March 7 against 5 accused persons who were arrested in July last year in Manipur said the accused criminally conspired with intent to carry out violent terror attacks targeting the viral Kuki-Zo community with prohibited arms and ammunition. The Union government signed a ceasefire pact in 1997 with NSCN-IM leadership in India, and a framework agreement to find a political solution was signed with the group in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015. The group emphasized a greater Nagaland to include all the Naga-dominated areas in Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, and Arunachal Pradesh. M. Anand Singh, 44 years, the main accused, was arrested last July along with A. Kajit Singh, K. Sham Johnson, L. Michael Magancha, and K. Romozit Meitei by Manipur police while traveling in a vehicle dressed in camouflage attire resembling uniforms worn by security personnel. 3 weapons and ammunition looted from police armories were recovered from their possession. The NIA registered a fresh case on July 19 under the Stringent Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UAPA) and other sections of law to probe the larger conspiracy. The NIA said Anand Singh mobilized local youth for armed training to escalate the ethnic strife, and in July 2023 participated in a weapons training camp organized in Seloi, Langamai Ecological Park near Kaiku by PLA cadres, where around 80 to 90 young men received training in handling firearms. Singh assisted in imparting training on battle drills and jungle warfare to the participating youth, the NIA stated. The agency said the accused criminally conspired with intent to carry out violent terror attacks targeting the viral Kuki-Zo community with prohibited arms and ammunition, which were looted from various government sources. The agency said the criminal intent of targeting the viral community has been established and corroborated by the use of camouflage attire they were wearing to evade detections by security personnel. The NIA said the accused willfully violated prohibitory orders issued by the district's administrations to spread hatred and enmity among the communities, escalate the ongoing ethnic strife, disturb peace and tranquility, and to pose threat to the unity, integrity, and sovereignty of the country. Ethnic violence between the tribal Kuki-Zo people and the majority Meitei community erupted in Manipur on May 3, 2023, which has claimed at least 221 lives so far and displaced over 50,000 people. More than 4,500 weapons were looted from police armories, and around 1,800 weapons have been recovered so far. The Central Agency said the China Myanmar model of NSCN-IM based in Myanmar decided to extend support to banned terrorist organizations Kanglei Yal Kanbalup, KYKL, and People's Liberation Army of Manipur, PLAM, to infiltrate their cadres into the Indian territory for carrying out terrorist attacks. For this purpose, NSCN-IM promised a safe passage along with arms, ammunition, explosives, and other terrorist hardware to Manipur-based terrorist outfits and prescribed organizations. In addition, these outfits have also been tasked to identify, recruit, and train impressionable youths and get them involved in the ongoing violence with the larger goal of destabilizing the security situations in Manipur and to further wage a war against the government of India, the NIA added. Combined team of PDF, KNAB and KIA had a heavy gunfight with Meitei People Liberation Army, PLA, and Meitei United National Liberation Front, UNLF, in 3 locations in Myanmar for 3 days, that is, on 7th, 8th, and 9 May 2024. In the second fight, some of the PLA and UNLF cadres were killed and got injured, and many of them fled away from their camp to neighboring Manipur. On further search of the area, the PDF had recovered many arms and ammunition with high explosive bomb of Manipur Police Department and commando dress, and other equipments from PLA and UNLF camp at Myotit, Myanmar, Burma. The question is, how could the looted arms, ammunition, and explosives of the Manipur police be found at the camps of outlaw banned organizations of Meitei PLA and Meitei UNLF at Myotit, Myanmar, Burma? It is to be noted that PLA and UNLF are anti-India terrorist outfits which have attacked and killed many Indian soldiers, including an Indian army colonel, and raped many Indian women in the past. The presence of Manipur police looted arms, ammunition, and explosives at UNLF and PLA camps at Myanmar raised eyebrows and points to a huge security lapses and nexus on how an Indian state armory was allowed to be not only looted but again handed over to anti-India Meitei terrorist outfits based in neighboring Myanmar, Burma. The Meitei-centric media based in Imphal refrains from reporting all these shocking developments. In connections with the 18 Lok Sabha elections 2024, various brands of accessible articles like IMLF and illicit country liquor (DIC) were confiscated under 11th Act and provisions of the Manipur Liquor Prohibitions Act 1991 by the Excise Enforcement Team Kangpok P District and Police Department Kangpok P District. Mangkusang Hokip, officer in charge, Supermaina under the supervision of the Commissioner of Excise, Government of Manipur, along with Excise Enforcement Team have destroyed and burned down about 3,579 liters of country liquor, DIC, and 99.17 liters of IMLF. The destroyed liquor is approximately rupees 4,11,302, only in local market value. The following excisable articles are confiscated and destroyed. US 69 of MLP Act 1991 at Supermaina excise stations in the presence of Kangpok P District Police, media and public at 12 p.m. today, the 15th May 2024.
In the 18 Lok Sabha election 2024, various brands of excisable articles like IMLF and illicit country liquor (DIC) were confiscated under Relevance Act and provisions of Manipur Liquor Prohibition Act 1991 by the Excise Enforcement Team Kangpok P District and District Police Kangpok P. I, Mr. Mangkusang Hokip, officer in charge of Supermaina, under the supervision of Commissioner of Excise, Government of Manipur, along with excise enforcement team, have destroyed and burned down about 3,579 liters of country liquor DIC and 99.17 liters of IMLF. The destroyed liquor approximately 4,113.02, 4,11,302 only in local market. The following excisable articles are confiscated and destroyed: 69 of MLP Act 1991 at Supplement Excise Station in the presence of Kangpu PDC Police Station, Media and Public at 12 p.m. on 15 May 2024. Thank you.
India saw nearly 6 lakh people displaced internally in 2023, of whom 67,000, over 11%, were in Manipur because of the ethnic conflict there. A global report released by Geneva-based Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, IDMC, said Tuesday. Manipur's figure was also the highest for displacement triggered by conflict and violence in India since 2018, according to the report. The remaining 5.28 lakh or displacements in other parts of the country were attributed to floods, storms, earthquakes, and other disasters. The report pointed out that protests over a Manipur AC order in March 2023 for sending recommendations to the center to recognize the Meitei community as scheduled tribe ST term violent in Churachandpur on May 3, 2023. The violence spread to other districts. The AC call was met with resistance from other local STs, including Kukis. Land disputes were also an underlying driver of the tension, the report said. More than 3/4 of the movements of internally displaced people took place within Manipur, but almost a fifth were to neighboring Mizoram and smaller numbers to Nagaland and Assam, the report added. On displacements due to disasters in other regions of India, the report said the figures for flood was the lowest since 2008 at 3.52 lakh. The largest event, which triggered about 91,000 displacements, occurred in Assam in June, when heavy rain hit 20 districts, causing some rivers to burst their banks, the report said. IDMC flashed Delhi as another flood displacement hotspot last year. Heavy downpours on July 9 brought 153 mm of rain, the highest figure recorded for a single day in 40 years. Rising water levels in the Yamuna prompted 27,000 displacements, the report said. Earthquakes and subsidence at Zosimat in Uttarakhand in early 2023 caused over 4,000 displacements, and Cyclone Biparjoy on the west coast triggered 1.05 lakhs displacement, the report said. According to IDMC, 46.9 million people were displaced internally across 151 countries last year. The young Kuki expresses deep concern regarding the misuse of Kuki Zou Martyr Cemetery at Second. It has come to their attention that cadres of Zomi Revolutionary Army ZRA, who died while fighting in Myanmar, were buried in this cemetery on the morning of 14 May 2024. In its press release, Young Kuki states that the Kuki Zou Martyr Cemetery is a consecrated holy ground dedicated exclusively to the burial of our martyrs who tragically lost their lives at the hands of Meiteis during the ongoing ethnic cleansing of the Kuki Zou people in Manipur. It is not intended for the burial of individuals who died honorably while serving their organizations or on a missions for their organizations. This misuse not only disrespects the memory of our martyrs, but also violates the sanctity of the cemetery and the intentions behind its establishment. The Kuki Zou people have suffered immense loss and tragedy, and it is essential that the memory of our martyrs be honored with the dignity and respect they deserve. The release further says permitting the burial of individuals who did not perish at the hands of Métis or those who do not sacrifice for the Kuki-Zo fight for justice in Manipur diminished the sanctity of the Kuki-Zo Martyr Cemetery and diminishes its historical and cultural significance to our community. The cemetery holds deep symbolic value for the Kuki-Zo people, serving as a sacred space to honor the memory of those who sacrificed their lives in the struggle against oppression. Allowing unrelated burials in this cemetery not only disrespects the memory of our martyrs, but also diminishes the historical narrative of our people's resistance and resilience. Furthermore, the Kuki-Zo Martyr Cemetery is a tangible representation of our collective identity and struggle for self-determination. It is a place where our community gathers to pay respect to our fallen heroes and draw strength from their sacrifice. Allowing the burial of individuals unrelated to our history of struggles erodes the integrity of this sacred space and diminishes its role as a beacon of remembrance and unity for our community. Young Kuki asks JPO Lamka and ITLF to clarify how such burials were permitted and why the sanctified purpose of the cemetery was not upheld. We request immediate clarifications from the leadership on this matter and to ask that appropriate actions be taken to ensure that the cemetery is used for its intended purpose, aided the release. Manipur Commissions for Protection of Child Rights MCPCR on Tuesday expressed concern that some organizations and individuals are allegedly trying to lure the parents and guardians of internally displaced children so as to carry out illegal transportations of children in large numbers on the pretext of giving free educations and accommodations outside the state. A release issued by MCPCR stated that for the last 1 year, thousands of children of Manipur, particularly of the two warring communities, have been exposed to such dreadful violent situations which had never happened ever before. The brunt of the unresolved ethnic conflict which erupted on May 3, 2023 has incapacitated precious childhood of many children unimaginably and infringed the undeniable fundamental rights of the victim children, it asserted. In the wake of the unprecedented crisis, some individuals are allegedly attempting to lure the parents of the displaced children to carry out illegal transportations of children. It reiterated. It maintained that transportations of large numbers of children without fulfilling set norms for verifications and other legal procedures, only to place the children at certain religious educational places, unregistered homes, and institutions instead of providing formal quality educations under RTE Act, potentially amounts to child trafficking, it maintained. The same falls under ZZ Act, Section 370 IPC, and in stark violations of Supreme Court directive dated August 1, 2010, it aided. It mentioned that NCPCR New Delhi, in its later number F number 9905/2024/NCPCR PD/0021793 dated May 3, 2024, strongly recommended to prevent such illegal transportations of the children. Available testimonies of the rescued children have also shown that they were allegedly subjected to sexual, physical, and mental harassment in many instances, besides not only giving proper food and care, it asserted. MCPCR categorically appealed to the parents, guardians, CSOs concerned, and all the right-thinking citizens not to solicit such illegal transportations of children from relief camps and community as well, all the while urging everyone to remain vigilant and not let the children fall prey to the ploy of child traffickers and exploiters, it aided. The 8 hostages of the Izang village were released today. However, the whereabouts of 4 youths still remains unknown. After a combined forces of SNA and junta forces captured Taizang village, they apprehend 8 captives but released them yesterday, the 14th of May. Last 11 May, combined forces of KNAB and PDF took over the camp of Meitei terror outfit SNA and Myanmar junta at Motit. The fleeing SNA and junta took shelter in the nearby junta camps at Minta, near Taizang. On the 12th of May, around 200 SNA moved to Taizang village, where they occupied well-built houses in the village, forcing the owners to evacuate. One of the villagers says that few of the villagers were apprehended by the junta forces since they failed to escape before the arrival of the junta forces in the village. No contact can be made since their mobile phones had been seized by the junta armies. They also captured 3 young men and 1 married man in the south of the village. Since most of the villagers in the borderline village have fled to India, they urged the CSO leaders to give humanitarian assistance. The junta forces are still camping in the villages, so the villagers cannot return to their village even though it's paddy plantation season, said one of the refugees. UKNA released a clarifications note in regards to a false rumor spread by an anonymous identity under the name Team Gao in various WhatsApp groups. The fake account holder Team Gao had spread hate comments in regards to the UKNA actions of accusing 2 of its own cadres in killing their CEO. Manson may be mad that on that fateful day, on hearing the news of the murder of the king CEO, the UKNA divide themselves into 3 groups, where 2 groups carried out operations in the area suspecting intruders, while 1 team is left to guard the camp. 1 group was sent to Golenkot, while the other was sent to Kangnom. The 2 culprits who escaped were still young, and such mindsets coming out from such young people was very surprising and unfortunate. 3 of the mastermind the murder of the CEO was apprehended since they were surrounded and cannot escape anymore. But the Manson, 2 had fled. Manson may be mad that 2 of the trainees were eyewitnessing the whole scene, but didn't support since the incident involved weapons and bloodshed. They remained silent for their own safety. But after all the leaders from town returned to the camp along with all the troops sent for operations, the 2 witnesses met the leaders and confessed what they saw. After learning the truth from the witnesses, the 3 culprits who failed to escape were summoned and kept in isolated locations. The 3 apprehended culprits admitted their crimes, and they were given capital punishments as per the laws and oath they had taken. The five mastermind had also convinced 2 trainees to join them in leaving the group. But since the 2 trainees bear no ill intentions against the organizations and its leaders, they were not given capital punishments but terminated from the organization. If any individual's organization is willing to learn the truth, you can ask these 2 trainees or ask the UKNA personnel directly. We welcome everyone who wants to learn the truth. But it will be wise and best for everyone to not speak out of your whims and vested interest on baseless ideas that can defame the organization. The UKNA would like to request everyone to not believe in such baseless rumors, but to seek the truth. Team Gao has spread that the 2 culprits were charged only after 6 days, which is false, which shows his evil intentions and how he wants to throw bones between brothers. Lastly, the UKNA would like to warn that if any persons in future try to tarnish its name so as to defame it, the UKNA shall not overlook him or her but take befitting actions against such individuals. So as to prevent the reputations of such acts in the future, the UKNA had dealt with the culprits accordingly. A vehicle carrying Assam police personnel met with a tragic accident in Bihar on May 15. The vehicle carrying over 2,000 police personnel met with an accident. It collided head-on with an approaching truck from the opposite direction. Meanwhile, the injured police personnel had been referred for primary treatment to the nearest hospital. On the other hand, 2 police personnel are reported to be in critical condition. As per preliminary reports, all the injured police personnel comes from Makum in Tinsukia district. However, an investigation has been initiated into the matter. Earlier, 3 Assam Rifles Jawans tasked with elections duty in Bihar's Samastipura for the Lok Sabha elections met a tragic fate as they drowned in the river on Tuesday, May 14. The incident unfolded following the completion of elections procedures when the trio, engaged in routine activities, found themselves engulfed by the waters of a nearby river while attempting to bathe. The Secretary of the UT of NSCN-IM has issued an immediate directive for the closures of all nightclubs, pubs, and discos within the UT's jurisdictions. These decisions follows numerous complaints from the general public and various civil society organizations, CSOs, about the late-night operations of these establishments, which often continue until early morning, it said. In a press release, the Secretary of UT, NSCN or GPRN cited concerns over the presence of underage girls at these venues, allegedly engaging in moral activities with married men and non-local businessmen in exchange for money. Further, the UT office also warned against drugs peddling and the sale of banned substances within its jurisdiction. The press release highlighted a troubling increase in drug use among young Naga youths, attributed to the easy availability of these substances. The NSCN or ZPRN UT officials shall take stringent actions against anyone found involved in the sale or distribution of banned substances or drugs, it informed. The UT office also cautions its staff to inform or consult its office regarding any work within UT jurisdiction. The Secretary warned that any staff member found involved in untoward incidents within the jurisdictions of UT would face strict disciplinary actions from the concerned office. Coming to national news. India is closely monitoring the situations in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where at least 3 civilians and a policeman have been killed after security forces fired at protesters demanding cheaper fuel and electricity. New Delhi is seeing the killings and protests, among the most serious in POK in the past 2 decades, as a sign of a dynamic shift in Islamabad's ties with a region to which it was always known to have given a preferential treatment. The fragile situations in POK, sources said, was also being perceived as a major weakness of the Pakistani establishment and an opportunity for New Delhi to push a narrative of comparison vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir, J&K, from its hosting the G20 meet in Srinagar to the recent violence-free conduct of the Lok Sabha elections on world platforms in the coming months. The killings took place in POK capital, Muzaffarabad, on Monday after the Rangers, who had been deployed to cool days-long protests, fired at stoned, paddling demonstrators while exiting the area, Pakistani media reported. The protests were organized by the Jammu Kashmir Joint Awami Action Committee, JAAC, and umbrella organizations of labor leaders, traders, transporters, and other civil society groups to demand electricity as per hydropower generation's cost, subsidized wheat flour, and an end to the privileges of the elite. The policemen died in clashes over the weekend. More than 100 people were injured in the protests, including 6 on Monday. Shortly before Monday's violence, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had approved the immediate provisions of Pakistani rupees 23 billion on account of power and wheat subsidies. On Tuesday, JAAC called off the protests, saying the government had accepted all the demands of the protesters. The country's financial capital is likely to witness heat wave conditions followed by thunderstorms with light to moderate rainfall in the evening, the Weather Department said in its forecast for May 15. Heat wave conditions will prevail the next day, and the city and its suburbs will get light rain or thunderstorms in the evening. Both days are expected to see a maximum temperature of 37 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 26 degrees Celsius, the weather forecaster said. Central Maharashtra, Konkan, and the Marathwada regions are also likely to witness thunderstorms, lightning, and squally winds, 40 to 60 km per hour between May 15 to 17. Central Maharashtra and Marathwada could also see hailstorm activity on May 15, IMD said. Mumbai was hit by a powerful dust storm and rains on May 13, which led to the collapse of an illegal hoarding in the Ghatkopar area, killing at least 16 people and injuring more than 100. BMC and NDRF teams rescued 89 persons from under the collapsed hoarding, of whom 14 were declared dead. 2 more bodies were found under debris of the hoarding, installed on a piece of land owned by the government railway police. Bhavesh Bindi, the director of the ad agency Eagle Media responsible for the hoarding, is on the run. A case of culpable homicide has been registered against him. Coming to international news. Israeli forces pushed deeper into Gaza's southern city of Rafah on Sunday, in parts of the north where militants have regrouped. Around 3 lakh people have fled the city following evacuation orders from Israel, which says it must invade to dismantle Hamas. Rafah is considered the last refuge in Gaza for over 1 million civilians, as well as Hamas' last stronghold. Neighboring Egypt issued its strongest opposition yet to the Rafah offensive. It said it intends to formally join South Africa's case at the International Court of Justice alleging Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has defended a decision to post delivery to Israel of 3,500 bombs over concerns they could be used in Rafah, saying Israel lacked a credible plan to protect the civilians sheltering there. Rafah has been sheltering an estimated 1.4 million Palestinians, most of them displaced from elsewhere by Israeli bombardment, amid dire shortages of food and water. Blinken reiterated opposition to a major military assault on Rafah and said that Israel would be left holding the bag on an enduring insurgency without an exit from Gaza and post-war governance plan. Gaza has been left without a functioning government, leading to a breakdown in public order and allowing Hamas' armed wing to reconstitute itself. Biden has made clear to Israel that if it launches these major military operations to Rafah, then there are certain systems that we're not going to be supporting and supplying for that operations, Blinken said. Indian aviation platforms in the Maldives have always operated according to the agreed procedures and with due authorizations, India said on Tuesday, adding that the emergency landing in Timarafushi was due to an unforeseen emergency. The statement by India came as it dismissed Maldivian Defense Minister Ghassan Mahmood's claims, alleging that Indian military helicopter pilot stations in the Maldives carried out and unauthorized operations in 2019. Mahmood claimed at a press conference in Mail on Saturday that he knew of one of the aviation platforms undertaking an unauthorized sortie. He narrated an incident where one of the two helicopters operated by Indian military personnel in the Maldives landed in Timarapussi, allegedly without permission. A case which he said was reviewed by the Parliament's Committee on National Security Services 241 Committee when he was a lawmaker. Dismissing the allegations, India in a statement said, Indian aviation platforms in the Maldives have always operated as per agreed procedures and with due authorizations from MNDF. The specific sortie on 9 October 2019 referred to at the press conference was also undertaken with the approval of MNDF. The emergency landing at Timarapussi was necessitated due to an unforeseen emergency, which was carried out after taking necessary on-ground approvals from the Air Traffic Control (ATC) to ensure the safety and security of the platform and crew, India said. The statement by the High Commissions of India comes days after India completed the withdrawal of 76 military personnel from the Maldives following a demand by President Mohamed Muizzu. Muizzu, a pro-China leader who came to power in November last year, had set May 10 as the deadline for the withdrawal of the Indian military troops from his country. According to local media reports, on May 11, the Maldives National Defense Force (MNDF) revealed that the Indian military personnel who were previously operating the helicopters gifted to the Maldives by the Indian government had made a trip on the helicopter without notifying the Maldivian military during the administrations of former President Ibrahim Mohamed Saleh. Incidentally, at the same press conference, Defense Minister Ghassan also confessed that the Maldives military still does not have pilots capable of operating 3 aircrafts donated by India. The Indian military personnel were stationed in the Maldives to operate 2 helicopters and a donor aircraft gifted by India. The helicopters and the aircraft were used primarily for medical evacuations. The last batch of Indian military personnel were repatriated by May 10. The deadline set following an agreement between the two countries in February in New Delhi. The Maldives is India's key maritime neighbor in the Indian Ocean region, IOR, and occupies a special place in its initiatives like SAGAR, Sagar, Security and Growth for All in the region, and the Neighborhood First policy of the Indian government. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.